What's up, guys? It's Mr. Adams. Making a video today. I don't think I did this last week. I feel a little bad, but we're going to do it today because you can always look up the answers. So please don't. And actually, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little handwriting stuff first. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go to coding bath. This is a little warm up, okay? And you're going to do, and then you're going to log out. All right. So we're going to do something that we've already done to kind of get the feeling back. You know what I'm saying? So I want you to do bunny ears right now. I want you to just practice bunny ears. And then you're going to do this on the computer, the first one. So remember, there's two things that we need to happen. One, we need to have a reason to kick out. All right. So we're going to return if bunnies equals 0. We're going to return 0. And hopefully I can remember this. My head's swimming around a little JavaScript right now. Boo. All right. And then we need to give it a reason to work through things. So we're going to return 2 plus. Then we're going to do bunny ears. And then we want bunnies minus 1. All right. So remember, on recursion, we want two things. One, a reason to get out of it. And two, a reason to keep moving. All right. So we need both of those. So the bunny ears minus 1 keeps moving. The bunny ears goes. And keep your fingers crossed here that I did it right. I should have had the notes above. Boom. Ah! Okay. So it says int cannot be line 2. I don't know. Now I gotta look at my answer. Oh, it does say show solution right there. But like return 0, that's a number, right? Int cannot be returned. So if this is so embarrassing. So embarrassing. This is the kind of stuff that's gonna happen on the test, and it's gonna be okay. You're fine. We got a double equals that. All right. So now we're gonna go. Boom. Yes. One click. One click. Okay. All right. So we did this. Okay. Now we're gonna get a piece of paper out. Okay. And then we're gonna go over to bunny ears 2, and we're gonna try and do bunny ears 2 just on a piece of paper. So we're not gonna have the freedom, the kind of happiness of typing this in, getting the one click, wondering what's going on. So we're going to go over 2 more. Boom. Next. And now we're going to do bunny ears 2, and you're going to write that on a piece of paper, and you're going to see. So some of it is just kind of remembering, like, oh, I've done this one before, and then some of it is doing that. But it's going to be a little iffy. It's going to be a little scary doing it on a piece of paper. All right? I was going to pause it, but then it doesn't really matter. I'm going to just push I'm going to log in, and it'll pop up. So anyway, so you're going to do this. You're going to do the recursion. You're going to write it down. After you write it down, you're like, yes, this is the answer I want. Then you can put it in, hit run, and see what you did wrong. Okay? Now, when you write it down, so when they grade on the test, like, you're not going to get counted off if you forget a semicolon. I think if you don't put any semicolons in ever, they will count you off big time. But if there's little mistakes, they're not going to really count that much. It's more the idea of how to do it. But like, for instance, if you don't give them a reason to kick out. So you got to give them a reason to kick out. You got to give a reason to move along. If you miss those two, you're going to count off a bunch and that kind of stuff. Okay? So right now, you can try this one. Boom. Maybe you already have. And then you see, and then clearly, actually, you've done it. So you can just click log in and see if you did it right or if you're really stuck. But anyway. Boom. I guess it doesn't quite pop up like that. All right. Okay. So, then let's do. Oh, see, it did pop up. All right. So hopefully you did that. You run it. Booyah. Nice. Okay. So go back, and then after now we're feeling a little bit more. Go back and do the Fibonacci one. All right. I'll do the Fibonacci one, I guess, now, because now you just saw the answer. So make sure you log out. All right. So then go do a couple of these that you've done before. So write it down. Okay. Go through, double check. The ones you write down probably purple. See what you've done. and then check. So we're going to kind of practice that and do like a couple of those, and that's kind of on your honor, your pinky swear. Okay? All right. And then we're going to do the homework here. And then I think I was going to cheat, and now I'm not going to cheat. Okay. So now we're going to do kind of the same thing with the homework. So I'm actually only going to give one of these today because I want you to take time. I want you to go slow and go through this. And so what I want you to do first is get out a piece of paper, and I want you to first, before you start the problem, I want you to write down what is your plan for the problem. Okay, so I'm not gonna like read through the whole thing with you guys. It's a little awkward to do the video that way. So I guess I'm gonna give you the highlights here. So right now, pause the video, read through the problem. Is that you know what I'm saying right now? Pause the video. So anyway, hopefully you figured that out. So read through the problem, go through, see what it says. Then you're going to pause the video, and we'll kind of talk through what they want us to do. All right. So pause video. Boom. All right. I think I've talked about this podcast like kind of over that they say, okay, we're gonna spoil the movie, and they just spoil the whole movie anyway. So anyway, I did a bad job explaining that. So we go through. We want to write this method. Okay, so the idea here is we want to basically go through the answer sheet. We are given a key. Okay, we're given a key, and then we have the answer sheet. So the key is called key, obviously. Answers called answers, obviously. So we want to go through those answers. Boom, 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 boom. If the answers equals the key, add 1. If the answers doesn't equal, or if the answer is incorrect and it's not a question mark, we want to take off 0.25. Okay, and at the end we want to return. So we should always, if we have no idea what's going on, like you do not know anything at all, and you're like, thinking through, Mr. Adams is the worst, hate him so much. Okay, one thing you know is if you figure out what to return, you're going to get at least a point. Okay, so we want to return the score. That's pretty easy peasy. We can just guess that. All right, next, any kind of things that, any variables that we definitely 100% need. We need that too. And of course, we need we need a variable for score. Okay, and think it kind of gave it away because it's 0.25, so I need a double. All right, and we need to initialize that. And then this is the kind of thing, like if you forget to initialize, it's not going to be a huge deal, but make sure you put that in. So, like just doing that, you're going to get at least a point, and you're not going to walk home with a big goose egg. So that's good. All right. So next, we need to loop through our answers. Okay. So we're going to go through. We're going to walk through the answers. To be honest, I think we could do this probably a couple different ways. So if you didn't do it exactly like I did it, that's okay. 0, as long as I is less than answers.size, ANSW. Oh my gosh, answers.size. Mr. Adams is trying to think, thinking of something else while he's typing. It's no good. Okay, and then I plus plus. All right, so hopefully we know how to loop through things. And once again, if you're not 100% sure of what's going on, is if you're like, well, I know I need to loop through something, write down a for loop. All right, even if it's like kind of messed up, that's okay. We want to be able to piece things together. All right, next we want to check and we want to compare our answers, right? So we're going to say if, and we kind of know it's an if statement. And this is a little tricky because it's an array list, and answers up here, we're told, so the answers, where is it here? Right here, answers is an array list, okay? So do the array list, we're going to say answers get, and then we want to, we're going to go through that, and then we need to do dot equals. All right. So this is one. Once again, if you put 1 equal sign, I don't know. Yeah, pulling Mr. Abs. But the 2 equal signs, probably not going to get full credit, but you're going to get some. And then you need the dot equals if you remember, because we're looking at strings. All right. So dot equals key, dot gets I. All right, so once again, we got the dot gets. If you use the square brackets like you're doing just another array, you're not going to get 100% credit, but you're not going to get all the way off. So if you wrote that on the side, it's not going to kill you. Like basically, they want to know like kind of the gauge of how much of this you understand. These questions are written. They're written so they can tell how much you know. There's not like it's kind of like a rant. They're pretty good written questions actually. Why Mr. Adams can't make that kind of stuff up. All right, so and then I think I'm missing one bracket here. Once again, I guess an easy thing to do is make sure that your things match up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I have my brackets here. All right, and then I'm going to say else if. This one's a little tricky. So this one we basically want to say if it's not a question mark, we're going to do this, right? And hopefully in your notes you wrote that. If it's not a question mark, we're going to say not answers. And SWERS dot get I equals P dot get I. Ooh, no, I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, we want to know if that's not equal to the question mark. All right, and then make sure I got these. I got 1, 2, 3. So I need 1, 2, 3. All right, squiggle brackets, and then end the squiggle brackets. All right, so I didn't put anything in here because I like to put the else if in there. So now, if it's equal to, I'm going to say score equals score plus 1. Yes, there's other ways you can do that. Okay, there's definitely other ways. And then here, I'm going to say score equals score SEORE minus 0.25. All right, okay, and put a 0 in there. I don't know, put a 0 just to make sure. All right, so then go through, and I'd also like to suggest that basically all of coding is, it seems really hard and stuff, and then once you get done, you're like, oh, of course it was that easy. I spent like literally 8 hours, 2 days worth of 4 hours a day, trying to figure out how to fix this code in my other thing, and it was like seriously, I moved it down 3 rows, and then it worked. It sucks. Well, and then that part didn't break, and then something else broke. But anyway, all right. So now we're going to save and run. Big money, no whammies. There's an error. Okay. Can't type today. Can't type at all. Okay. So that's I is less than answers dot size. I don't know. You probably saw that when I was typing it. All right. And then I can't spell. Okay. Now on the test itself, you are not going to get caught. They're just going to blow through that. I'm not going to pay attention to that. This one, top one, maybe they will because that's a pretty bad mistake. But writing down. All right. Oh yeah, one click. Woo! All right. Okay, so that's how you do that. Okay, go through once again. If yours is not super close to that, that's okay. It's going to be but you're going to get the free points basically for giving the variable and returning. Okay, those are freebies. All right, you're going to get some kind of points for going through rolling through that. Okay. And then you can get, actually, you know what? You're going to get points for adding and subtracting. So if these on the inside aren't perfect, that's okay. It's not an all or nothing. I'm doing awesome or I got nothing. It's little parts. Okay. So you just feel okay with that. All right. So now we're going to do the next one. If you want to pause the video, you're like, ugh, Mr. Adams kills me. Well, actually, you're going to pause the video anyway. So go ahead and we're going to do the next one now. Completed, well done. Boom. Um, write it out, read it, and write it out first. If it gets there, I guess. So read it, write it out, plan, first steps, boom. second steps, boom. Okay, go through the easiest stuff first. So spoiler alert, start with the return, okay, and do those steps. So go ahead and pause, read through, and then go. Okay. All right. Paused. Okay. See. And then some of you, like I do on my class, is like you're supposed to pause and work through this stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Don't be like me. Okay. Work through this stuff. I'd like to think that you guys all want to get a good grade on this test, so that'll be fine. Okay. All right. So anyway, this time we want to go through and we want to look at. We want to compare all the answer sheets. So we want to compare the get score with the let's compare each get score and pull off the highest get score. Okay. So and when we read through, we want to return somewhere in here. It says what we want to do. We want to return the name, or yeah, I don't know now. Actually, I guess we just want to return the highest. Okay. All right. Of the get names. So anyway, all right. We'll look through here. Okay, there was one little trick to this one. It's a little tricky. Hopefully you saw. Um, we got the sheets right here. So the sheets are everything together. So the sheets kind of, make sense. You got all your answers on one sheet, right? Your answer sheet. So you go through and they add the students to each answer sheet. Okay. And so we can read that stuff. But so we get an array list of the key. And so the first step, or let's go ahead and what do we want to return? Okay. And we want to return the highest score, right? HIGHEST. Okay. And then we want to pull out, we want to somehow, or we want to pull out the name. So get, work a little bit. Be honest, I'm looking at my notes here. Okay. All right. So now we have that. We need a variable for highest. Okay. And it is easy to say, and we could do this a couple different ways, but highest is obviously a number. So we could go with the double again, but really we want to keep it as a student sheet. So we want to use the object student answer sheet. Okay. And so if we use the object student answer sheet, that's going to get us, it's going to save us a couple steps. So if you added a variable called double highest, that's okay. But then we're going to have to pull out what that highest is. And it's going to be a little bit trickier. It's not going to be too much trickier. In fact, actually, this way it's kind of the shorter way. And you're like, oh man, I would never have thought of that. I think I should have done it another way. Now that I explained it, I should have done another way. But it's okay. All right, so of course now we're going to call that highest, and we're going to call that sheets dot get, and then we want the 0. Okay, so that is pretty much, and that's going to be something they're going to look for. So they're going to say, are you going to take the first one and make that the highest one first? Okay, so set that in. So it's kind of the little steps that you need to think about. So when you write this stuff out first, those are kind of things like I need to set the first one to the highest, and then later on you can follow through and do that. Like I said, if you did this a little different, that's fine. You could pull this stuff apart, and each time you can do that. All right. Okay. So now this next one is kind of something I'm struggling with a little bit because I didn't do this as much, but there's two different ways to kind of do a for loop. Okay, so I can have the for loop like we did before, where we go through and I just roll through, and that's the way I'm pretty good with. But there's the other for loop, which is basically for every student answer sheet S in our array list, our array list SHS. So right here, actually. All right, so I have an array list. I'm saying for every answer sheet S, and then I can just call that S. All right, and this one, it's been showing up a bunch lately. So hopefully we remember that. we can go through those 2 for loops. That's something if you were like, hey, how can I prepare for this test? Probably knowing the 2 different for loops is a good one to write down in your notes and cover through. So here, instead of doing a for I loop, we're going to say for all the students to the answer sheets. Okay. And we'll call that sheet. It doesn't matter. We can call whatever we want in our sheets. All right. And this is probably the trickiest part about this one. And you can do it different ways, but the this is kind of the fastest way. So here's my sheets. I got a student answer sheet, all of them there. So I'm saying, okay, uh, for for every student answer sheet, I'm going to call that sheet. In my sheets, let's go ahead and do something. All right, and I'm going to say if sheet.get score key is greater than my highest get score key. Oops, lowercase key. Oh, and this is bad too. All right, so now I'm looking through my key here, and this has all the answers in it. And I'm going through each one of my student answer sheets, and I'm getting the score based on the key, and I'm checking that with this first one. Okay, so once the first one gets replaced, then it's whatever the new one is, and then we go from there. All right, so now I should just stop. Okay, all right, and then if that is the case, squiggle bracket, I'm going to say highest is equal to sheets. All right, and then end squiggle bracket there. All right, so once again, I can count my squiggle brackets. We go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I'm going to actually squint a little bit, make sure I spelled highest right. Highest sheets. Okay, so once again, this highest goes for student answer sheet, so that's why I can do the dot get name. All right, so we're going to save and run. One click this time. All right, so the best is 54, and it's 54. So we got, all right, so we ran through those. We did that. So, wait, it's not 54 at all. See, that makes a lot more sense now. I'm very happy about that. That's student 4. So student 4 should be student 4. That is why it's dot get name and not get score. Okay, so we could have done dot get score on there, and we could have seen what the highest was. That's no good. All right, where are we at right here? All right, so that is it today. Okay, because I want you to take your time. So if you're like, oh wow, I went super fast on that. I guess you can do another one. All right, but otherwise, that is it. If you want to do another one, you can. Or go back. I would do some of the coding batch stuff. And then, did you guys notice on coding batch on Java? Uh, there's a section called AP1. So if you want to go through those, practice those. I would suggest writing them down, read it, write it down, and then check. Okay? All right, cool. So let me know if you got questions. All right, bye.